Yep, 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 yep.
Yes, it's the Finnish Football Show. Those listening live will have heard what a shambles that start of the show was. Those that are listening to the podcast, it will all be edited out and there's nothing to see here. I'm Mark Wiltshire. This is Finnish Football Show 28. Thanks for joining us. There's so much going on in the world of Finnish football that we're back together only 2.5 weeks after the last show. Yes, I know. It's like waiting for a bus, the Finnish Football Show. You wait 2 months for one and then two come along all at once. As usual, the full gang is here. I'm joined by Rich. Hi, Rich.
Hello.
Keke. Hi, Keke.
Hello.
And last but not least, Mark. Hi, Mark.
All right.
Very well, thank you. This episode is live on Podbean. If you're listening live, then remember, it also allows listeners to call into the show. If you have something to say and you want to call in, then we could maybe give that a try. Let's have a look. At the moment, there's nobody there. We've had a couple of people sniffing around. Antish said hi. He said hi and then bye. He's gone. We now have over, I think, 30 followers on Podbean. Hopefully some of you are listening tonight. The old Stockton Sea Dog hung around last time. Maybe he'll come back today. If you're there, let us know that you're there. If you're not listening live, we still want your input. So podcast listeners use social media to get in touch with your feedback. Our handles are at FC Suomi, at Explore Finland, at Keke Muuleri, and at Escape to Suomi. And you'll also find the Finnish Football Show Facebook page and group. Ask to join. We'll let you in, sharing some of the things that we're finding about Finnish football and some of the things that we got going on regarding the live shows. So this show looks like being a bit all over the place, subject-wise. So in the first half, we'll look at young Finn Jimi Tauriainen joining Chelsea, the Nations League 2021 draw, the Suomen Cup last 16 draw. And then in the second half, we'll focus more on the Finnish national team, asking the question, and maybe answering it, will the upcoming Huuhkajat fixtures be played behind closed doors? The football world, like the rest of the world, seems to be falling to coronavirus. So we don't know, but we're going to speculate anyway. We're also going to look at the new Finland kit. And finally, we'll discuss a book launch that Mark attended last week. And we have, after 4.5 years, the first ever Finnish Football Show competition. Unfortunately, I didn't have a sound effect fitting for that built into Podbean. So let's just say, woo. Okay, we have our regular features, Jasilla Sipuli and following. But how about if we get this show started? With the first half, let's kick off. And as I said, this is talking about young Finn, Jimi Tauriainen, joining Chelsea. Someone tell me about this. I mean, whenever I see good young talent joining Chelsea, it's like a dagger to my heart. I brought up as a Wimbledon fan and a Fulham fan, and Chelsea were the big boys down the road. So there's no love lost from me. But who wants to tell us a little bit about this story?
I'll do it. So essentially, he was an HJK player until this week. He turned 16 on Sunday. Chelsea waited a whole day to sign him up on a contract. He's going to move to England, in the summer. There's a lot of speculation beforehand. I think a lot of the big European clubs were sniffing around. Juventus, in particular, were close to signing him. And I think his older brother plays for Freiburg in Germany, so that was also a consideration. But with Chelsea's ban on signing players being lifted now, they're sort of sniffing around everything. And I think a lot of people are speculating, isn't this what they got a transfer ban for in the first place, was signing junior players from all over the world? So they haven't learned their lesson. But
what is the rule, though, Rich? Like you said, they signed him a day after his 16th birthday. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he turned 16 on Sunday and he signed on Monday.
And what are the rules that they need to be careful of?
I'm not sure exactly now because of Brexit. There's various international rules around registering of young players across Europe. I mean, normally it's some countries it's 16, some it's 17. I guess that's one thing I didn't look into, to be honest.
Okay.
But I haven't seen much of him other than a few clips here and there, and he looks very exciting. He's I think a lot of people are confused the fact that he was pictured with Frank Lampard holding a Chelsea shirt with number 3 on it, and people assume he'd be a left back, but he's definitely more of a winger. But good prospect, and so hopefully he'll do well.
If you look at the show notes for this episode, so follow the link in the brief introduction in your podcast player. There's full show notes, and there's a link to a local London newspaper with the story there and with the picture that Rich is talking about. I'm assuming that Keke and Mark, you haven't seen much more of Yimi playing football either.
Not much more than his YouTube videos, like Rich said. But his brother Julius plays in Germany, and his dad, I think, was Pasi. Is it Pasi?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think he played about 5-10 times for Finland. So he's got strong roots in Finnish football. That's for sure.
Okay, the last show that we recorded was just the day before the Nations League 2020-21 was going to be drawn, and we were speculating about what we thought might happen, what we hoped might happen. At one stage, we were thinking, were we going to watch the draw together and do a commentary on it like we did before Christmas for the Euros? But my life got busy, and I don't think the rest of you kind of got together either. So, did any of you watch it?
I watched a bit of it. I watched a bit of it on the UEFA app, actually.
Okay. Well, you also sort of tweeted about it, Keke. So tell people a little bit about how the draw came for Finland.
Well, yeah, it was pretty decent. I mean, we had to what part? I can't remember what group or pot we're in now. C, wasn't it?
Group four. Yeah,
and so they started with the little nations and worked their way up to the big boys. But yeah, it was quite as exciting as the Euro one. It was nice to see the teams come out from a selfish point of view. As you know, we were texting within our WhatsApp group about the possibility of some local games for the ones of us based in Britain.
You got lucky, didn't you?
Myself and Rich, and yeah, we lucked out. We got Republic of Ireland and Wales. So yeah, there was big celebrations for us. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's
that group's completed by Bulgaria. So it's Wales, Finland, Republic of Ireland, and Bulgaria. And Wales have been good in recent years, but less convincing in the Euro qualifying. Mark, how do you feel about that group? What do you reckon?
I'm well happy. I mean, if you look at so the big team in that is Wales. Like you said, they're not performing as well as they have done in recent years. They've got Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey. They're the big players, but apart from that, there's not much. I think in my life, this is probably the worst Republic of Ireland team that I've ever seen. With all due respect to them, but they don't have. I think their star players would be Seamus Coleman, who's 31, 32. McCarthy up in the midfield, he's all right. But beyond that, they don't have a great deal of Robbie Brady. I think he's also 30, north of 30. So this isn't a vintage Ireland team. So I think we've got good chances to take points off those guys. And then Bulgaria. I mean, 10 years ago, Bulgaria had Stilian Petrov and Berbatov, and they had real kind of dangerous players. But these days, I was looking through the latest squad that they've got, and I think they've got one player that's done some time in Serie B. But apart from that, they're all kind of local, and it's. I think, I mean, you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but it's a tasty looking draw from a football side of it.
Yeah, and the fixtures are played as six group matches, so home and away against each team, played in September, October, and November 2020, hopefully. And I added the picture that Keke tweeted to the show notes, so you can see the group there, and you can also see the dates and the kickoff times for the fixtures. As ever, there's quite a few 9:45 kickoffs. I don't know if they realise quite how tough it is to sit up until midnight. For me, as a 40-something-year-old man, keeping my eyes open until midnight watching football, I struggled last night for the Liverpool Atletico Madrid game as well, and it went to extra time. There's also a page on the UEFA.com website. There's a link there as well, kind of Nations League, all you need to know page. So you'll find everything there relating to that.
I think the other thing about those teams as well is that, like, the Aviva Stadium's beautiful, like in Dublin. So if anybody wants to go for an away trip, I think it's 50-odd thousand, and they really rarely fill it for football. They fill it for Gaelic football, but I don't think they fill it that much for us, for the proper game.
I'm supposed to be going in June, but I don't think I am now. I'm supposed to be seeing Poland v Sweden there in the Euros, but no, I'm not. No. So.
Hey, listen, no spoilers. That comes in the second half.
Yeah. But no, it's rugby they play there. They play the Gaelic at Croke Park.
All right, yeah.
But that's like 90,000 there, and they sell that out.
The only bummer to come out of this group was the little away double header at the end. Would have been nice for it to be Ireland and Wales in the same few days, just for the travelling.
Oh yeah, that's true. That would have been quite a weekend, wouldn't it?
But my mate Ville did manage to pick up a flight on BA from is it Sofia in Bulgaria to London, I think it was, for like €20. So if anyone still fancies that, get on it.
Very good. Good tips.
Yeah.
And while we're on the fascinating subject of draws for cup competitions, the Sorman Cup. We talked last time about the group stage. There were a few games still to be played, and we now have the draw for the last 16. How about if I read through the fixtures, and if anyone wants to stop me and sort of mention any that particularly catch the imagination. So I won't bother with the dates and things. Oh, actually, they all seem to be on the 14th. Yeah. Oh, this Saturday, isn't it? Yeah. So first we got Oulu versus Honka, Pekka versus Lahti, Tips versus TPS. I don't even know. To my shame, I don't even know all of these lower league teams. But MP versus Hakka, Kaapo versus Kups, KTP versus Ilves, KPV versus Hoiko, Helsinki, and Jippo versus Inter. There's some good alliteration there. Tips versus TPS and Kaapo versus Kups. That rolls off the tongue quite nicely. I'd quite like to have seen KTP and KPV as well. But away from me playing with words and letters, anything there that catches the eye?
I think in my house, Kaapo versus Kups will be confusing because obviously Kaapo is the name of a kids' TV show. Well, it's translated into Finnish as Kaapo anyway.
Your daughter likes it like this.
Yeah, but she also supports Kups, so I don't know which one she'll want to win, whether it be Kaapo or Kups. Yeah, but it's weird. I mean, the way this has been drawn, so there's 16, there's 8 Veikkausliiga teams, and they were all seeded, so the Veikkausliiga team will be away in all of them. But I guess at the time of recording, they're still going ahead.
Rich, have a listen to this.
You're getting to be a big boy. I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more. I like exploring. I'm Caillou.
Right, that's quite enough of that. But you brought it to mind with your talking about Kaapo. Go on. I was quite quick on the fingers there. I'm surprised I managed to find it so easily. Anything else in there? Kups obviously has been your team as well. Where are Kaapo from?
Karina.
Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, there's some interesting draws, and obviously the very convoluted way we've got here is that you've got Pekka and Tips are they were the finalists from last year's Regions Cup. Mm-hmm. So that's their kind of extra prize is a last 16 tie here, and then you've got the 2 finalists from the Karkkonen Cup. So that's Kaapo and Jippo. They both get a spot here as well. So
somehow that doesn't seem like a bad idea, though. It kind of giving a little bit extra incentive to do well in those. They might not get any further than this, but still, it keeps it interesting. Keeps a few different names in there rather than just having a dozen Veikkausliiga teams.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good for them. It's it's a big game to have a big club and hopefully some decent level players coming. It's a bit of it's almost like the sort of old days in the FA Cup in England of having the big team come down and slumming it for an afternoon. Ronnie Radford later on.
Do you know anything about the revenue split, Rich? Is there does it all go to the home team, or what's the crack with that?
I believe it goes to the home team. I'm not aware of any. I mean, someone will probably tell me off for getting it wrong, but I think, and again, the gate receipts for the small clubs are generally going to be, pretty decent. Especially, you've got the smaller one. I mean, Tips welcoming TPS should be fairly decent turnout there, and I think they're making a big deal of it, rolling out the red carpet and so on. But
all the way from Turku to TikTok.
Yeah, there's a long carpet.
It's a long carpet. One other thing I noticed actually is that the Pekka game against Lahti and Kotepe against Ilves are both played in Kotka on the same day, so it's almost like a double header. You've got one game listed as being at 1:30 in the afternoon and the other one at 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone will stay around for both.
That suggests there's going to be large travelling crowds in the first place.
Well, who knows?
We'll see.
Again, without spoilers for later, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler for anyone listening to this to know that we're in a growing virus outbreak at the moment around the world. Anyone else got anything else to say about the Suomen Cup? Absolutely not. Perfect. So how about then if we blow the whistle for half time? Hey. Before we go on to the halftime thing, Mark, for some reason, your little icon here is bouncing up and down, but you are still there, yeah?
No, you need to let him in.
Oh, I didn't realise. Thanks for letting me know, Keke. I was too busy talking.
Yeah.
Mark, are you back with us?
Yeah, he's back.
I hope so, yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, I didn't realise that you'd dropped off. I was just about to say, we have someone listening here, Dupla Vasuri, who's having a little bit of chat. So thanks for watching, listening to the show.
Yep. Our one fan thinks that we are more attractive than the coronavirus. So I think that's as popular as we've ever been.
I'll take that.
I would settle for that as well. Yeah. Okay, we're at halftime. I blew the whistle. I don't know if you heard it, Mark. I blew the whistle, and we have our halftime feature of Jasilla Sipuli, which is where, well, basically you, Mark, enlighten us about a Finnish football term or phrase. What was the phrase you went for this week?
This show, the word is dummari, which is the man in the middle, the guy who dishes out the cards, the referee.
Thanks, chaps. That's a bit more extra editing work for me now. I need to try and find out what time that comes. We have our non-explicit label,
We paid for the bleep machine, so we may as well use it every now and again.
The bleep machine being me going through and bleeping.
You're very welcome. But in Finnish, the official word is tuomari. In Swedish, it's dommare. And dummari is a bit the kind of colloquialism in Finnish football. So if you're upset with a decision or a call and you want to shout at the ref, that's the thing to go.
Yeah, it's very close to the English word dummy as well, which seems appropriate.
That's why I like it.
Okay, let's get back to the show and start the second half. And again, back in the last show, we talked about upcoming Huuhkajat fixtures towards the end of March. So in about 2.5 weeks time, Finland are playing away against Poland in Wrocław and then away to France in Lyon. And Rich, you had something to say about this. Across much of Europe, games are starting to be scheduled behind closed doors. And behind closed doors is a very British way of saying without a crowd or in an empty stadium. They just literally close the doors. What's the newest news, Rich?
Well, the latest news is so the Poland game is still going ahead as of now. The France game has moved to Paris because as it's behind closed doors, they said it's just easier to have it in Paris. Which
doesn't play in their local park if there's no crowd going to be there. It doesn't really matter which patch of grass you run around.
And again, it's difficult to gauge these things because various countries around Europe are basically saying no football for the next fortnight. So and cancelling their end of March fixtures. So to be honest, I'm anticipating that coming in the next couple of days. At the time of recording, they're still due to go ahead with no fans.
And what you said that certain leagues are sort of postponing football. What's the latest you've heard on that? We're now like Thursday evening, the 12th of March.
Yeah, so the Palolito and Vegas League are meeting over the course of the next 24 hours. Palolito tonight actually, and Vegas League on Friday. Several leagues, I think Norway today said they're postponing the start of their season till the start of May, and the Finnish government today said that they're going to recommend that there's no sort of public gatherings of more than 500 people until the end of May, which will deal with most of the top level Finnish games. So in reality, I mean, they'll either have to be played behind closed doors again, or with a very restricted crowd if they happen at all. It's all sort of changing as we speak. I mean, they're suspending ticket sales for the international against Estonia in June. That was meant to go on sale tomorrow morning. The women's Euro qualifier in Vasa in April, the tickets were meant to go on sale for that, I think, tomorrow as well. That's been suspended. So, today they've been sort of postponing and cancelling various youth tournaments and saying that they recommending people don't travel abroad and so on. So,
where are you getting your updates from, Rich? Because it might be interesting for people listening to I don't know, visit the same websites or follow the same people online.
Well, most of it's actually directly from Palolito. They've actually been surprisingly upfront around all this. Normally, they're quite slow to react to a lot of it, but most of that is on there. Obviously, the stuff about the other leagues is through, I suppose, my equivalents in their various regions.
There are equivalents to you in other regions.
Yeah, they're probably just as sweary and grumpy.
I think there's also been various tweets and Instagram posts from the various Finnish players all over the leagues all over the world. I mean, Marcus Halsti put a picture on Instagram today of him packing a ball and a pair of boots and saying that's him in isolation for not isolation, but away from the training ground for 2 weeks because the Danish league has been suspended for 2 weeks. So everybody's basically going home to be on their own and stay indoors, I think. So, and as Erno has said in the chat down there, the 3 players who are based in Italy, Hukaya players, are they're not available for selection for whether these friendlies go ahead. They're I don't know if they're staying in Italy or if they're coming home and staying in quarantine or what, but they won't be going anywhere near the rest of the squad.
Rich, actually, you liked or forwarded a tweet earlier where there was a British-sounding guy tweeting that Finland seems very relaxed at the moment about coronavirus and, holding kind of networking meetings and small seminars and things like that. And it made me think, because I went to the same such meeting this morning and it didn't occur to me that might be seen as strange thing to do. Where we are, so Seinäjoki is in the region of South Ostrobotnia, Etelä-Pohjanmaa, and I think now in this region there's 2 people have been diagnosed. So I am kind of relaxed. And Lady Saftu is a nurse and she had influenza last week, but not coronavirus. And, I'm trying to be as sensible as possible. We've got anti-bac hand wash and wipes and soap and things like that, and doing all those kind of things. But I was talking to somebody in Helsinki today who said it seems a bit more urgency about it down there. What about you, Mark? From down there in the south of Finland, what's the perspective?
Yeah, it started to happen that in Helsinki, there's a couple of the shops that are going around with the old empty shelves, and the loo roll is flying off the shelf here for stockpile. So there's I would say a mild panic. I think there's a bunch of stuff. I know a bunch of lads who have gotten mails now about the Helsinki Cup that's organised in the summer.
Yeah.
That looks like it's a big tournament for youth teams all around Finland and a couple from across Europe, and it looks like that's now massively in jeopardy as well. So I think we're not panicked, and we're not that I don't think it's that serious, but it's creeping in. I think it's getting to be kind of more realistic. There's no crazy scenes yet, like in the States or back in London. But
how is it over there, Rich?
People are just buying lots of toilet rolls. It's really odd.
Pasta. There's no pasta left.
Yeah, don't worry. Waitrose have plenty of olives. It's strange. I mean, where I live and work is sort of southwest London. It's it's strange. There are fewer cars out and there are fewer people out. I don't know whether that's linked or not. And bear in mind, there are a couple of schools near here that are closed, and especially through work, we're getting lots of advice and suggestions and bits and bobs. They think the idea for us to deal with it is just give us a bit more hand gel, which is really helpful. It's weird, and obviously everyone's kind of waiting for something to happen, and particularly when the UK is pretty much the only major part of Europe where the football's still going on. I'm meant to be going to Brighton Arsenal on Saturday, and everyone's assuming it'll get postponed, and we're sort of sitting here less than 48 hours away going, nope. So I think everyone is just kind of sitting here in a state of flux, really.
Mm.
I mean, it's like the Leverkusen Rangers game tonight. We already know that the return leg in, a week or 2 weeks even, will be played if it is played at all, if UEFA don't suspend, will be played in an empty stadium. They've already made that decision. But tonight, there's Ibrox will be full of fans, including German fans who have travelled over. So it's a bit of a strange situation. I'm glad we're doing this, because I've just been sitting around being miserable, waiting for this nasty old virus to attack me and all my loved ones. Do you know what I mean? I needed a bit of cheering up. It's all we seem to be talking about at the moment.
But let's hope that the listeners to this podcast, when it comes out, feel that we've cheered them up as well and haven't depressed them too much. So essentially, in answer to the question, will football in Finland grind to a halt? The answer is we don't know. Maybe, probably for a little while.
Mm.
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay, let's move on then to something that's close, particularly close to Keke's heart. The new Finland kit, Keke. What do you want to tell us about it?
Oh, the new what? The possible. But no, I think we're pretty sure that they're going to be the jerseys, aren't they? So, or maybe by the time the Euro comes around in 2021, they'll have changed their mind and we'll have a different design. You never know. But yeah, there was a leak. There was a leak of a couple of shirts, and including a few close-ups, and they do look quite realistic. I've got to say, I'm not a fan of the home shirt, the white one with the black fading to blue cross over the shoulder down the front. I don't mind the away shirt so much, despite criticisms that it looks like a polo shirt. I don't mind a shirt with a collar, so I'll take that. But the home one, I just can't get on with. And as you boys know, I put it out there. Asked the public, asked our army of listeners what they thought of it, and we got over 100 votes, I'm pleased to say. And what was it? We got a 54% in favour of binning that horrible new home jersey. But 46% of people who voted actually liked it. So, yeah.
Keke, did you run a Twitter poll based
did,
on
yeah.
a rumor. No, I know you did, but what I was going to ask is, did you run that Twitter poll based on a rumor of a shirt that Rich
I did, yes.
put out there?
I did,
is.
Are
It is
you two creating your own fake news?
No, it's a pucker source.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's not confirmed
Verified
yet.
source.
Anyway,
Verified sources.
Yeah, it's not confirmed by Nike or by Finland, but it's
But Rich asked his mate Tim if it was the one or not.
yeah. And he went, unfortunately, yes. No, it's they are legit.
okay, and do we have an opposing opinion? What do you think, Mark?
I quite like it. It's quite. I mean, it's not too flashy. It's not too. It's
I
not
used to
too,
like you, Mark.
grandiose. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's got a little bit of the hockey '95 kind of jersey thing. I understand that it's not perfect. It does look a lot like. You remember when you used to play PES or FIFA back like 10 years ago, and you would design your own shirts, and it would have that. That it looks kind of exactly like the kind you would design on PES like in 2006. So it is a bit basic, but I mean it's pretty plain, and it'll do. I think it's quite good. I would say though that I think in the time that rumor came out, the Swedish shirt was confirmed, the Danish shirt was confirmed, and there was a couple of others that went out. So I think it might actually be possible that Nike are having a rethink. I mean, I don't want to pump the influence level of this show
Based on Keke's Twitter poll of 108 votes.
Might have given the giants at Nike something to think about.
I'm kind of with you, Mark. I quite like the cross. I just wish it would be more of the royal blue and maybe fading down to black at the bottom. If you haven't seen this and you're listening, it's in the show notes. There's a picture there of the home and the away kit, and I don't know. It's somehow a bit different. I mean, okay, it's similar to the one from a few years ago with one stripe going all the way down one side. But the cross part, I don't know, I quite like it. It kind of reminds me a bit of Scotland's shorts from the 1980s with the white shorts with the blue stripe going around the middle. Very odd, that was. But I don't mind it. I think, I like I say, the colour notwithstanding, I'd wear it. And I haven't bought a Finland shirt for 20 years.
There you go. Get out your €100, hand it over the counter, and you can have it.
Don't they do a slightly cheaper one for skinflints?
Yeah, I don't know.
That rubbish thing.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird as well, wasn't it? That fan funny poster that they released that some younger teams wear, but like it's not really anything else.
Yeah, the under-21s wear it. The futsal team wear it. I'm pretty sure the women's team wear a version of it. So it's like, and they did a proper launch for it as well. I think it was about 5 games ago, and I genuinely thought they were switching the shirts.
Yeah, a lot of people in the football shirt connoisseur, fraternity thought that, hold on, what's this? It's a new Finland jersey, but no, everyone except the first team.
Madness.
Interesting. Okay, we're kind of. What's the breaking news, Rich?
The Finnish FA have suspended all football until the end of March, with the exception of the cup games this weekend, which will be played behind closed doors.
What?
Hang on. Hold on. So, how much football have they actually banned between now and the end of March?
At the moment, it's
all of it.
Junior football and various tournaments and things like that. But I think it's basically as a kind of interim measure. And then, obviously, Veikkausliiga are convening tomorrow. But they've said that the Finnish Cup last 16 and the men's futsal playoffs, which are due this weekend, they're still going to go ahead, but with no fans.
Okay, which, as we've said before, for some of those games might not make that much noticeable difference. But the reason I bought what you said is that between now on the 12th of March and the end of March, the only games like the senior games being played are those Swarm and Cup games because the league doesn't start until April.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it includes training and tournaments as well. So in theory, the clubs are being
and so that's not so much kicking the can down the road as kind of just knocking it off the curb into the gutter for a week or so's time.
Yeah, and then we'll reconvene. We'll wait, go to the Winchester, and wait for all this to blow over.
and on that bombshell. The final thing to talk about today, and it's over to you, Mark. You were at the launch of a new book about Finnish football. Tell us a little bit about the book, and then tell us about the event.
Yeah, so the book is by Ari Virtanen. He's the head football writer at the Helsingin Sanomat down south in Hesari. And he's written a book called Oi Suomi On, which is Huuhkajien tie jalkapallon EM-kilpailuihin, or the Finnish team's road to the Euros. It's a book that covers basically a story of about 2 years, 2.5, 3 years from the end of Backa getting fired to the campaign and Finnish football across what we described as the worst time to be a Finnish football fan, I think, in history. And it's a really good read. It's actually sort of I haven't finished the book yet because it's in Finnish and it's still something that still on my to-do list. But what he does is he tries to tell stories from the perspective of the people who were involved. So he's got first-hand accounts from players, from coaches, from fans, from different people involved with the game. And it just follows the kind of progression of Finland and the revolution as it went through and culminated in their qualification for the Euros.
And there's a bit of a featurette about this word revolution. We covered it, I think, before Christmas. We talked about where this word, the genesis of this word revolution. Maybe it was in our football, our Jasilla Sipuli feature just before Christmas. But Mark, go on, blow your own trumpet, my boy. Tell them what it says in
the book. I mean, the book is full of many, many highlights. But I mean, once you pick it up, you're going to want to pick it up and turn straight to page 75, and you're going to want to look at the top 2 paragraphs. Because that's where we sort of turned the corner in the form of the Finnish football team, and that's when the term revolutio or revolution comes into the local colloquialism. And actually, Ari called. I think it was one of the posts that we did a couple of months ago. I think we made bios or something for the website. Ari called me just kind of out of the blue and said, "I'm writing the book and I've done some research, and it looks like you're the first person to have come up with the hashtag revolution or revolution."
Which you knew anyway because we'd put that in the previous show.
I did say that I think I was the guy. I was pretty sure I was the guy because I had a discussion. I think it's Finsvenska who's the other guy. Who I mean, I sort of put it out. I tweeted out when I was watching those games in Dubai in 2017, I think. So there was only about 6 other guys watching that game with me. But yeah, we had a discussion with it, and Ari was saying that he searched Twitter and he searched all of the social medias using the hashtag, and the earliest hit he could find was FC Suomi back in the day, and the Finnish Football Show as it kind of came on.
There we go.
Very good.
Very
nice. And this page actually talks about it name checks you, and it name checks the Finnish Football Show. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. So thanks to Ari, and good luck.
Go and buy his book, everybody.
Yeah, I've put a link in the show notes to the best price I noticed when I googled it. Anyway, so it's get out there, especially if you speak Finnish, and even if you don't, show a bit of love to Ari. And if you do buy it, then tweet him and tell him that you bought it because you heard about it on here. And then he'll still be Mark's friend.
Promo
forever.
code FFS.
It won't get you a discount, but
but I do have to say it was a really emotional night for the book launch. So the crowd was about 50 people there. It was about half Paloliito guys and Finnish football guys, and half football journalists. And it was really like some of the guys. Tim Sparks' dad was there. Hannu Tihinen was there. There was a Jaskalainen. I think Jussi Jaskalaisen's sister was there. Ari Lahti was there. So there was a lot of guys that have been on this project and have been on this in Finnish football for a lot of years, and there was just it was very strange. I have to say, Finns don't get that emotional at any point, but this was, there was lumps in throats all over the place.
I'm not going to say what I just thought, but Mark, you picked up a spare copy of the book.
I did indeed.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to keep it. No, I'm going to have to. We're going to have to give it away. So it's a signed copy of the book of Ari's great book, and we're going to have to launch a competition.
Just so we're clear, what people are entering for, is the book signed by Ari, or is it your page signed by you?
Yeah, it's just me writing my name over and over and over again
on every page.
Yeah, every page. It's illegible, physically illegible. No, it's signed by Ari. I haven't spilled any beer or coffee on it, which is it's pretty good for me. And it's hot off the shelf, so it's good to go a little bit of Finnish football history.
So to keep, I'm going to have to edit here. I'm just going to have to pause my mic and go to the alarm on the door. So those that are listening live get to see behind the curtain a little bit. But Mark, I'll lead you into the question and then tell the question and keep talking for half a minute. So, Mark, what is the question that you want people to answer, and how do you want them to?
So, we're going to set a nice little question about a very crucial moment in Finnish football history. Once you think you know the answer, you're going to want to email us at finishfootballshow@gmail.com. That's finishfootballshow, all one word, @gmail.com to the following question. Before the victory over Liechtenstein that sealed Finland's progress to the European Championships, one of the players gave an inspirational team talk to the rest of the group. If you can name that player, send it to us at the Finnish Football Show @gmail.com, or pop us a note in the Facebook group. And if we select you out of the magic hat, then one of the fabulous signed copies will be flying its way to you wherever you are.
And so this we're recording on the 12th of March, and this will probably come out sometime tomorrow, Friday the 13th. Unlucky for some. When should we set the deadline? When should people contact you by?
I would say let's keep it open for a week or so until all games in Finland are called off because of the coronavirus.
Let's say that. Let's say by midnight at the end of Friday, the 20th of March. So all entries by then. So it's Finnish Football Show @gmail.com. Or what? How else did you say? Or is that how we want them to come in?
That one, or comments through the Facebook group, right?
Yeah, Facebook group. That's good. Yeah, just put your note there. Say book competition and give the answer. But if they do it there, it's public, isn't it? So then other people see the answers. Maybe message us through the Facebook group.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a member of the Facebook group, you can message us.
Send a direct message. So email or direct message. You can see we haven't done many competitions, so we haven't got a clue what we're doing. And with that, basically brings us to the end of the show. The extra injury time section, we do our following feature, our monthly nomination of someone we know or like on Twitter. I can't actually remember. It's classic football shirts @classic shirts. Rich or Keke, which one of you football kit perverts was it that suggested this?
Well, yeah, I've decided in the wake of this shocking new Finland design, we should promote classic football shirts, and Rich and I obviously get into secret private chats about which of our favourite football shirts we love the most. And I thought we should give the Classic Football Shirts account a bit of love, and people should go along there and they can follow on Twitter or Instagram and have a look and see some of the classics for themselves. There's also another account on Instagram, Fabric of Football, which is a similar account, but also putting some great work of the best football shirts ever produced for your
Rich,
viewing pleasure.
Did you say, sorry, Keke. Rich, did you say that they're selling shirts as well?
Well, yeah, Classic Football Shirts, they are essentially a shop, an online store that sell, again, mostly classic football shirts, although some newer ones too. They have quite a wide selection they've got from ex-players, and funny enough, Juha Tamminen that we mentioned on the last show, they bought a few shirts off him. They've got a lot of old Finland player issue shirts, and occasionally they get ones from clubs. I think they had an original Cups home shirt from the late 80s on there that I was very tempted to buy, but that worked out about 4 days of childcare. They're good, and they have various offers on, and depending what other teams you support, they get a lot of new sort of stuff in from a lot of it's like current season or the season before of old stuff that they haven't sold from the shop. So if you need a pair of football socks for your five-a-side, they're a good place to stop off.
And then there's some sort of offer on at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, so they've got 20% off everything until so it's Friday the 13th of March, but they do these every couple of months. So it's well worth keeping an eye, following on social media.
Okay, I think that is probably quite enough waffling on about old football clips. At Classic Shirts, good luck if you looking on there for something a bit different. But that is the end of injury time. Very good. That was quite a lean Finnish football show. We're about, I don't know, less than 50 minutes, which is pretty good for us. It just leaves for me to say, you're welcome. Those that are listening to podcasts, welcome to join us for the live recording. It's streamed live, audio only at the moment on Podbean. So you could join in by asking a question in person. Just come on and say hi. We've had quite a few people here tonight. I think I've said hi to about 4 or 5 people. And Tupla Vasari has been making comments all the way through, which is good. And we've been sort of answering some of them with audio and some with messages back there, and a few emojis popping up as well. One of the show would like to apologise for their burbling, but we're not quite sure who it is burbling. So if you can hear a bit of a strange noise in the background, sorry about that. We've mentioned it already, but join the new Facebook page. You get advance warning of the next show, although, to be honest, today's advance warning was about 3 hours. But you'll also find a link to our Facebook group where you can join in and kind of start conversations, join a conversation. So you'll find links to that on the show notes. And finally, you can follow one of us or all of us on Twitter. I would say if you were prioritizing, I should be at the bottom because I don't do much on there, but I'm at Explore Finland. Mark, who are you?
At FC Suomi.
Keke, who are you?
I'm at Keke Mullari.
And Rich, who on earth are you?
Last time I checked, I was at Escape to Suomi.
Yeah, you were that the last time I checked as well. So I think that all that really remains now is for me to play that darn theme tune again and try and stop it.
Just before we go.
More breaking.
No, not breaking news. Just in the next 5 or 10 minutes, obviously we mentioned it already, it's Leverkusen against Rangers, and that pits Glenn Kamara against Lukas Rarecki. So, for the fans of Finnish football and the Finnish Football Show, get your stream or your BT Sport, whichever you prefer, and watch these two Huuhkaja legends go head to head.
Well, I'm in my office, so I'm going to have to get the pedal to the metal and try and get home in time for that.
Wait, one more. You nailed me last year because of the Suomen Cup predictions. So go on, final score. Leverkusen Rangers final score today.
Tonight or across the whole the 2 legs?
Tonight at Ibrox.
Tonight 1-1.
I'm going to go 3-1 Leverkusen.
Oh, this is bold stuff. By the time you hear this, listener, you'll know the result. And if you don't, then, go online, search for it and see which one was closest. I'm staying out of this. And I'm playing the music now, so no more interrupting. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.